Have you ever wondered how personal habits can impact your social relationships? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this very subject. Our personal habits, those tiny actions we do every day, often without thinking, can have a massive impact on how others perceive us. They can either draw people towards us or unfortunately push them away. Understanding this can be a game changer in our social interactions. So brace yourself as we delve into the 20 bad habits that can make you less likable. Habit number 1. Constantly interrupting others. Imagine you're pouring out your heart, and the person you're talking to cuts you off mid-sentence. It feels like they're dismissing your thoughts, right? Interruptions can make people feel unheard and unimportant. It's a habit that screams, "I value my words more than yours." Not a great way to win friends. Moving on to habit number 2. Avoiding eye contact. This is a subtle one, but it makes a big difference. Eye contact shows that you're genuinely engaged in a conversation. When you avoid it, you give off the impression that you're disinterested or even dishonest. So, next time you're in a conversation, make sure to meet the other person's gaze. Habit number 3. Being overly critical. It's fine to have high standards, but constantly criticizing others can be draining. It can make people feel like they're walking on eggshells around you. Constructive feedback is one thing, but incessant criticism, that's an express train to unpopularity. Let's talk about habit number 4, chronic lateness. We all run late sometimes, but if you're always the last one to show up, you're sending a message that your time is more important than anyone else's. It's disrespectful and frustrating for those left waiting. So try to be punctual. It shows respect and consideration for others' time. Finally, habit number 5. Not respecting personal space. Everyone has an invisible bubble around them. When you invade that space without permission, it can make people feel uncomfortable and violated. Respect boundaries and give others the space they need. These are the first 5 habits that can negatively affect how others perceive you. Moving on to habit number 6, neglecting personal hygiene. It's a fundamental aspect of our daily lives, often taken for granted. However, disregarding it can make you less likable. The faintest whiff of body odor or a less than sparkling smile can leave a negative impression, so make sure to keep up with your grooming habits. Next up at number 7, we have being overly negative. It's natural to vent or share your worries, but constant negativity can drain the energy from those around you. Remember, positivity attracts positivity. Try to find the silver lining even in challenging situations. Habit number 8 is gossiping. Engaging in rumors or spreading negative information about others can damage your reputation and trustworthiness. It's always better to focus on constructive conversations and avoid engaging in harmful gossip. Coming in at number 9, we have the habit of not listening to others. This is a surefire way to make others feel unimportant or undervalued. Good listening skills are essential for effective communication, and showing genuine interest in what others have to say can greatly improve your relationships. Lastly, at number 10, we have always talking about oneself. While it's perfectly fine to share your experiences and ideas, constantly shifting the conversation to yourself can come across as self-centered. Remember, communication is a two-way street, and it's crucial to show interest in others' lives and experiences too. These 5 habits, neglecting personal hygiene, being overly negative, gossiping, not listening to others, and always talking about oneself, can create a negative image and push people away. By recognizing and addressing these habits, you can improve your likability and build stronger, more positive relationships. These 5 habits can further deteriorate your social relationships. Let's march forward to habit number 11, being overly defensive. Now, we all have our moments of defensiveness, but when it becomes a constant, it can be grating. People tend to feel uncomfortable around defensive individuals because it makes open, honest communication difficult. It's like walking on eggshells, and nobody wants to feel like they're treading lightly all the time. Moving on to habit number 12, always needing to be right. This is a habit that can make you seem stubborn and uncompromising. We all like to be correct, but there's a difference between standing your ground on something you truly believe in and refusing to acknowledge that you might be wrong just for the sake of winning an argument. This kind of behavior can make you seem argumentative, and it's not a trait that people typically find endearing. Next up is habit number 13, being dismissive of others' opinions. This one is pretty straightforward. If you consistently dismiss the thoughts and feelings of those around you, you're essentially telling them that their opinions don't matter. This can make you seem arrogant and uncaring, which, needless to say, aren't qualities that people usually look for in a friend or colleague. Habit number 14 is not following through on promises. This habit can seriously damage your credibility. If you consistently make promises that you don't keep, people will start to question your reliability. They might even start to question your honesty. And once trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. Finally, we have habit number 15, being ungrateful. It's human nature to want to feel appreciated. If you rarely express gratitude for the things people do for you, they might feel taken for granted. This can lead to resentment and can cause relationships to sour. These habits can make you seem difficult to get along with. But remember, habits can be broken and new ones can be formed. It's never too late to work on becoming a better version of yourself. Finally, we reach habit number 16, being a know-it-all. There's a thin line between being knowledgeable and being a know-it-all. Knowledge is power, and it's great to be well-informed. But when you start dismissing others' opinions and always insisting you're right, it becomes a problem. Remember, nobody likes a smart aleck. It's essential to keep an open mind and accept that you don't have all the answers. Moving on to habit 17, not apologizing when you're wrong. It's tough to admit when we've made a mistake, but refusing to apologize can rub people the wrong way. Everyone messes up sometimes, and it's okay. What's important is acknowledging your mistake and saying sorry. It shows maturity and respect for others. Next up, habit 18, being overly dramatic. Life is not a soap opera, and constant drama can be exhausting for those around you. Sure, we all have our moments, but if you're always the center of a whirlwind, people might start to steer clear. Try to keep a level head and deal with issues calmly and rationally. On to habit 19, not showing empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's one of the most important human traits. If you're always focused on yourself and never take the time to consider others' feelings, people may find you difficult to be around. Practice putting yourself in others' shoes and showing compassion. Finally, we arrive at habit 20, being manipulative. This is a big one. Manipulating others for your own gain is not only a bad habit, it's downright unethical. Whether it's subtle manipulation or overt control, people will eventually catch on and distance themselves. Honesty and transparency are always the best policies. These last 5 habits can make people wary of interacting with you. But the good news? Habits can be broken. With a little self-awareness and effort, you can work on these areas and become someone people love to be around. So go ahead, start your journey of self-improvement today. Remember, the power to change is in your hands. So we've gone through 20 habits that can make you less likable. It's important to remember we all have our flaws, our quirks, the little things that make us, well, us. But sometimes these habits can turn into stumbling blocks in our relationships with others. We've talked about habits like constantly interrupting others, not respecting personal boundaries, and always being late. These can all make it difficult for people to enjoy spending time with you. On the flip side, we've also discussed habits like being overly critical, always needing to be right, and not taking responsibility for your actions. These can not only make you less likable, but they can also damage your reputation and relationships. But don't despair. The beauty of habits is that they can be changed. It's not about perfection, but progress. It's about becoming more aware of these habits and making a conscious effort to change them. After all, we're all a work in progress, and it's never too late to improve. So let's make a commitment to ourselves to work on these habits. Not because we want to be liked by everyone, that's an impossible task, but because we want to be better versions of ourselves for our own sake and for those around us. Remember, changing these habits can significantly improve your social relationships. Thank you for watching.